Jezebel is keeping people, particularly men, single. And I'm about to explain how, because now that I have figured out who my my real enemy is, now I am just, everything is clicking together, and it's all, even the stuff that was happening in Italy, because this is actually why I even started to think about it, because I've been thinking, it didn't dawn on me to ask this question until today, but I kind of was thinking about it in the back of my head. Why is Zucchero single? Because he's a very lovable man. You know what I mean? And I feel like any woman would be blessed to have him. You know what I mean? And also, I worry for him because having seen him these couple of years, I'll be honest, this time round, he seemed to be deteriorated, but kind of in like a mental aspect, not in a life aspect, because he's getting older. He can do his shows. It's not like it's a bodily thing. It's like it's almost like it's a spiritual thing, right? And this is again the case of Jezebel. She, whenever she's around in whatever format she's in the lives of men, they appear to these men, right, as if they are here to help, as if they are like, there for your best intent. But your life will always end in destruction, and she'll always end up better off afterwards and move on. And one of the first times I ever saw this happening was when I was actually at school, right? So at school, I'm going to circle back to Zucchero because this is all just clicking for me now. Because a lot of the good guys I know are single. And a lot of them have a female I believe that they trust, that they shouldn't trust. And it's always those females throughout my entire life that have always been my enemies, who've always been the ones coming after me. And that's why I've learned to detach from the world. I don't want to do with anything to do with anyone, because I'm like, I'm actually the one who's out here looking out for you, the man. You're looking at me like I'm just trying to be some, like, I don't know, divisive, catty woman, right? Whatever. But then you're the one here with the woman that is literally causing destruction in your own life. And so I've just been like, you know what? I'll leave. I won't go where I'm not wanted, right? So I had this friend, right? And it's actually a shame because he's one of those people that I feel like we could have been lifelong friends. Like we actually really could have been. And there's a lot of guys like, well, not even just, yeah, there's a few guys like that I've met where it's like, oh, we could have been lifelong friends. But this character, so he, there was this girl, there was a friendship group, right? There was a couple of friendship groups. There was my friendship group, another girl friendship group, and then a whole bunch of guys. And I knew all the guys for a long time because I used to hang out with them all the time. You know what I mean? When we used to go always hang out in a big, huge group, right? And so this other group of girls now gets to know these guys a little bit later, and we all hanging out together, and there was all these lies and things that happened. Like once the guy, I remember messaging me, right, to be like, how could you say this? Because we were all supposed to go to the cinema. I've told this story before. We were all supposed to go to the cinema, right? And I was so excited. I was organizing it all for us to go. And then it got cancelled and I didn't understand why. And I thought, okay, basically these girls, she was the mastermind. The other girls were just, again, under the spell. So she had basically was trying to cut me and the other girls from coming, basically. Exactly. And it's always these women doing this weird stuff, because the stuff she would always do, like when we'd be around guys, it's always women like this. She would just act differently. Like she'd be there whispering in the corner. She'll be like, and I never used to pay attention to this stuff because it was weird. And I always just thought, why are you behaving like that? Like we're in a group, it's weird. But like I said, I'm not going to say anything because no one's going to take my side anyway, because everyone's going to take her side. So let's just shut up, shall I? So anywho, she did have a lot of those weird behaviors of like whispering with people and taking people aside, and and now I know that she was sowing seeds. So this is something that's happened, and this is again what these Jezebelic type individuals do, is they get you to trust them by kind of bringing you in as if they are your person and they have your best interest at heart. That's why I told you guys, I realized that in this spiritual battle in this season, the enemy isn't like the enemy that looks over there, that is clear. Our enemy is like the closest counterfeit. So what I've been realizing, even in my videos, I'm stating the same statements that other people say. So it's like, it's just up to the jury of the sheeple who they decide to believe, because it's just insane how this is happening. And I can't believe this is what I've been dealing with my entire life. And I feel so seen. I feel so seen and validated right now. So anyway, so after all is said and done, anyway, fast forward, he messages me like, how could you do this? How could, like, on, and I probably still have the messages because, by the way, I kept all the screenshots of all the conversations I had with all the guys at school. I'm going to do a video with them for you guys one day because this is some crazy stuff. But obviously I'll keep out their names, but it's just, it was entertaining. And I was like, I have to keep this. And I also kept it for leverage in case they ever decide that they want to try and play up. I can just remind them, like, this is embarrassing, my friend. I told you I'm a woman, I'm heinous. And these are the things that they don't think about. I've still got it to date. All the screen munches, because this is back in the days of screen munching. But anyway, so so he's messaging me in anger, like, how could you do this? How could you do this? Like, da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, do what? And thank the Lord that I was the investigative person I am, because I had proof from the conversations, because again, I'd been screenshotting it all because I knew I'd need proof, because I knew that people don't believe me and that I always need to have proof, and where's the proof, and the proof, like this P. Diddy case now thing. Anyway, don't even get me started, and there's no one on the client list according to the DOJ all of a sudden for the Epstein and all of this. Of course, there's no proof now. So if there's no proof, then the freaking deceivers win. That's what I learned throughout my life. So yeah, I've had to like learn to just do things in such a way. Anyway, so he's messaging me in anger. I was able to prove that she was lying, and then he apologized, but he didn't wake up. At that point, he didn't then go and wake up and then be like, oh, you know what? She was actually doing this and she wasn't. So he was already now lost in the sauce with her. Fast forward, when he started driving, you know, she would have him drive her everywhere. They weren't even in like an official relationship or anything together, which again, a lot of times is usually the Jezebel character, you know, stringing you along, not really giving you everything you ask for, but giving you enough to keep you holding on and believing that you're going to wake up tomorrow and she's going to be ready. This is why a lot of women who walk with this Jezebelic spirit thing, and you know what they do? And I've known girls like this, and that's why I don't hang around with them. I don't hang around with women like this, right? Even her, I remember another girl wanted to be friends with me, like best friends. And I said, look, since you want to be my best friend, I'll be so honest. I'm not going to be friends with you if you're friends with her, but I'm happy for you to be friends with her. And I'm not telling you to leave friendship with her, but I'm just telling you. Because my discernment, because I'm a woman, right? So anyway, and then, so in the end, long story short, he does everything for her. It got to the point where even his own friends were mocking him. Like, because he's always going and spending money, buying her clothes, this, that, and the other. And his guys were like to him, by the way, you know, she's just going to drop you as soon as she goes to university. She's just going to drop you. And he's like, no, she's not. Because she's probably telling him all the lovey-doveys. This is what these women do. They promise, they love to, like, Jezebel loves to promise you, like, everything that you want, right? And that's what entices the guys in. And that's what makes them more believable and more trusted than, like, say, women like me. Because I'm the woman who tells guys to their face, as I said in my previous video, on dates, like, look, I'm not interested in being married or having children. So just so you know, so they don't waste their time. I'm not trying to waste your time. I'm not trying to waste your money. And I tell them, it's a waste of your money to take me on a date. Save your money, save your hard-earned money. But somehow I'm the one who's the problem. I'm the one who's the problem. And I'm the one who's left here alone, and everyone's here defending these people. So long story short, she goes to university, and of course they break up. Fast forward to now. Last I heard, I bumped into her in the supermarket that I'm always in with you guys. She's married with kids. Where is he at? Still single. After all that he did in that time, we are not even friends anymore. Him and his whole friendship group, actually, I think all if not all of them, I think the last time I saw them, I think all of them were single. And I thought, wow, that's crazy work. Absolutely crazy work, because that's how Jezebel works. I told you, I'm spotting it now in experiences I've had with guys. There was this other thing I did in London. I don't want to specify too much because the more recent things were, the more dangerous it is to talk about them. But basically, met a really sweet guy. This happened more than once where there's been really nice guys and I've not given them a chance because I've spotted what I wouldn't have called a Jezebel, but I've spotted a problem, right, in the form of a woman in their life. And so I kind of touched on this. There was a really nice, really sweet guy, extremely musically talented, like plays all these instruments, writes like all these songs, like, and he was really, really sweet. And he actually gave me really important advice as well. Anyway, and so what I discovered is that he has sisters, right? And one of them at least, is the Jezebel in his life, right? And how can I see that? He has his undying loyalty and support for her and what she's doing, and everything that he's doing for her and his trust in her. It's disabling not just his ability to be in a relationship, because she was the one who was being competitive with me. Again, I'm never competing with these women, and why would I? And we're not even competing for the same kind of thing. Like, even with the number of times where I'm like, when I'm seeing when girls act a certain way, I'm like, you can have him, I don't want him. Do you know what I'm saying? But anywho, and so, she and me would she would clash with me all the time for nothing. And I was just like, you know what? And he's just there thinking, oh, it's just ladies, they're just having their whatever, aloof. And he doesn't realize that, like, no, this is like a barrier. It almost feels like a barrier. It's like to you. And that's what it feels like. And that's kind of the same thing that I feel like is happening in this situation with who in Italy, because I'm like, there's a barrier there. There's a barrier. Like, this man is singing songs about this feminine energy, this feminine entity, soul mama, like I said, which I believe is like the Jezebel spirit, this like demonic thing, right? He's crying out in his music for for like a mother figure to save him. He's crying out to be saved, right? In his music. That's what I think is so deep about it all, right? It just sounds so beautiful and everything in Italian, but I've been studying his music. But then do you see what I'm saying? I don't want to say too much, because obviously, so it's just like, this is how they operate. And the guys always, they're just blindly trusting. They're just blindly trusting. Some of these guys, like, let me give you another example of another type. It's these mums out there, the ones who create the mama's boys, and then they've got their little son, like their little dog who swears loyalty and swears this, and it's good things. And this is how Jezebel's good at doing. She's good at taking good things and doing it the wrong way. So it's good to respect your mother, and it's good to care about what your mother thinks of the woman you want to be with, and it's good to want to look after your mom and all of that. That's great. But that's still your mom, and she should have her own life and her own husband. And you know what I'm saying? And so you end up staying single, and she ends up staying single, because no one's ever good enough for you, and you just laugh about it like, it's so hard to impress her. No one's good enough for my mom. Yep. That's because the Jezebel, my friend, she's the barrier. It's not that no one's good enough for you. It's that she doesn't want to share you. She doesn't want anybody else to have you, but she also doesn't want to share you. And that's how Jezebel behaves. So then you end up alone, trusting blindly. And then if somebody comes along, like if I was to say to any of these guys, right? And I tried a few times. This is another situation happened at uni, similar thing. A girl, very beautiful. And I had off feelings about her. She joins the friendship group. It's a nice mixed group of friends, guys and girls, no problems. She joins the friendship group. I was like, okay, but I didn't trust her. I had off feelings about her. She goes to what I noticed she did, right? And this is when I was solidified, is there was a guy there who, actually by the name of, I'm not going to say his name because it's going to get too specific. But anyway, so he had like hurt his leg. So she would like go and sweep in and like help him, like, because we were all on the sports team. This is all between the sports teams, and she was on some of the other sports teams, whatever. And like I said, we always used to all hang out together. Anyway, so we would walk from like the basketball courts or like wherever, the football courts, whatever, to like another location as a group. And one time he'd hurt his leg and he was on crutches, and so she was kind of like holding him up, and he was all like, oh, you're so nice, thank you so much for your help, right? But here's the thing, when he wasn't there, she'd be like, oh, I can't even stand him, like I don't even like him, behind his back. And I was like, but no one really picked up on the fact that she was doing this, because again, people aren't paying attention. So I just mentioned once, because I always do this for my own due diligence, the same way I make these videos for you guys, so you can't say I didn't tell you stuff, right? I mentioned once as calmly and as undivisively as I possibly could to a couple of the guys that I don't trust her. I don't think we should trust her. And they were like, oh no, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. It's always, I'm sure it's fine. And so I was like, okay, cool, fine. Yeah, no. The group ends up broken up again because she makes a subgroup with just the guys. And like, I can't understand why these women who are so beautiful, like this girl is so much, she's so much more beautiful than I am anyway. So like, what are you even worrying about here? But anyway, so she separates her group with the guys, right? Separately from the rest of us. And next thing you know, the friendship group is broken up again. The rest is history. That friendship group doesn't exist. And she's also the same one who told my other friend, who happened to be on the same team with her, that I was talking about her behind her back, which is the reason that that friend of mine hasn't been my friend for 8 years. And did anybody ever come to me to ask me about these things? No, they didn't. Like, literally, guys, when I tell you that now I'm realizing what this is and how this has been maneuvering itself, this is what I'm saying. This is how she operates. It's like you trust in her, right? You trust in her. Because she swoops in like she's coming to help you, or like she's nurturing you, or like whatever, like she did with Ahab, like, oh babe, you want that land and they won't give it to you, it's okay, I'll go and get the land for you, my sweetheart, not telling you that I'm going to kill the other guy. You know what I'm saying? She's in her own agenda. That's what she's so good at doing. She's so good at making it seem like she's got your best interest at heart. And she is the woman who will do everything for you, when in reality, she's just there for her own personal agenda. Or the agenda of the enemy, which could be to use her to keep you, what do you call it? To keep you single. Again, once upon a time, this is again when I was probably about 19. There was a guy. He was a really sweet guy. And I mean, honestly, the sweetest guy ever, can I say, with the most beautiful eyes, all right? And we really hit it off. We had really strong chemistry. That was actually the time in my life, probably had the last time I had the strongest chemistry with any particular guy. And we just used to like, we used to do is he would pick me up after we finished work, like late at night, and we would drive around and sing along to songs on the radio, and it was so much fun, and I loved it. And then we would talk, and then go to McDonald's and get a McFlurry, and it was a good time. You can get me well with a nighttime McDonald's McFlurry, by the way. I'm a sucker for that. I love that. I just think it's fun, right? So anyway, so we would do all of this, and the chemistry was so incredibly strong, to the point where, like, even when I left to uni, we were still talking like all the time, every day. Well, you might be wondering why I didn't give it a shot then. It sounds amazing. 2 women. One in his life, which happened to be his ex, and one in my life. And I just realized that there's no conversation or words that I could say to him that's going to help him to understand why this relationship cannot work because of these 2 specific women. Because one of the women is a Jezebel is like a Jezebelic type of person in my life, but unfortunately they have a connection to him. And a strong one as well, as in, like, so it's just like, oh, I can't do this, because I could sense that it was going to turn into one of those situations where I was going to hate my life, and it was going to be a battle forever, and it would probably end up with him like disappointed in me because why am I always making a big deal, or I lose my mind going crazy because no one believes me, and then I end up in like a psych ward or something because he thinks that I'm not doing too well, or maybe I end up turning into an addict because I'm trying to cope with the fact that my own man doesn't believe me. And oh gosh, I was like, I can't do it again. And this is what I'm saying, so many times it's happened like that, where I'm like, I can't even tell you, there's not even a point in telling you because you're not going to believe me. Because why? Where's the proof, right? Where's the proof? How do you know? No way. She was just doing this, she was doing that. The other time, like last year, towards the end of last year, I was talking to this other guy, right, who slid in my DMs. This is why I don't send out messages, by the way, on comments anywhere. Because if I write even one comment somewhere on Instagram, all of a sudden, anyway. So this guy, he's a really sweet guy again. And again, well-to-do. They're all, these days, they're all tall, they're all handsome, but they're all still slaves, right? So anyways, he was really sweet, and he had a really interesting job, actually. in power. And he was telling me his experience of the last girl he was with, right? And he was doing the thing that guys do, because they honestly do fall in love too fast. Because I'm like, can we slow down? Because like, can we take a breather here? Because it's too much, right? But anyway, so he was just telling me about the experience he had with this previous woman, and how he doesn't understand how things turned out, because when they started out, she was so sweet, and she would cook for him and clean for him and nurture him, look after him. But he realized, because he's a spiritual man, and again, man in power, also claiming himself to be a pastor, the pastors need to leave me alone. There ain't no way, there's not a chance on God's green earth I'm going to marry a pastor, guys. It's not happening. So please, if you guys could just leave me alone. Anyway, and also, why am I going to even be wanting to be marrying you as a pastor when you're also susceptible to Jezebel? What the heck? What the helly? Literally, what the hell? What the helly? Like, so no. Anyway, so yeah, he's telling me about this woman, and then he's like, he noticed that he started to get really sick, and that he was just really sick ever since he'd been with her. And I was actually impressed for a man to have made that kind of connection, that it was her. And he was like, it was actually getting really bad. And so he didn't know what it was, but he knew it was her. And so then he, removed her out of his life, and now he was feeling better. And it was almost like, as soon as she was gone, it was like almost like something was lifted off of him. You see what I'm saying? And then now he was in great shape. I mean, he was all there flying to Morocco, talking about, this could be us in a year on honeymoon. You know what I mean? Loving his life. That's what Judy said on video call, thinking, really? Can't make this stuff up. But yeah. Again, and so I'm just seeing the connection. Are you seeing how much, like, it's not the things I'm saying, right? And it's so funny, because again, it would be a man to say a statement like this under my video where I talked about I can't stop thinking about destroying Jezebel, which is true. A male commented, oh, so we're on the schizophrenic side of YouTube now, huh? And I'm like, wow. Me, again, advocating for you people, trying to take out the real enemy, because you can't do anything because it's a woman or a feminine entity, right? And somehow I'm the schizophrenic one. I'm the one who needs the critique. I'm the one who's being critiqued down to the very bone. I'm the one who needs to change this. You need to. I told you guys, I'm sick of hearing that phrase. You need to. You all need to wake up. And so now I'm just noticing this trend now. And the more and more stories I think about, I can think of another situation of some guys at school that were down bad for a particular girl. It was another girl that I had an issue with, and everybody took her side. And then I bumped into the two of the guys just around here recently. Again, they're like, and then one of them proudly tells me, and I still talk to so-and-so. And I was just like, because of course, anyway, that they all have remained in contact. Are they together? No. Do they talk? Yes. And is she probably dangling the carrot? Yes. But they never even got into a relationship. And she's one of those types of females, right? Just like all of them, where when any good actual woman comes into your life, is going to spot them from a mile off and is going to run the other way. And then this is exactly why, again, we're seeing these issues with the guys being like, oh, women like this, they've had this experience, they've had their heart broken by these women. And then we're the ones who miss out over here. I just like to say, we're the ones who end up missing out. And by the way, that guy that I said was like really so sweet. We had strong chemistry. The one who we were in the car singing along to, we were singing to like Seal. It was too good. It was too much fun. But yeah, and do you know what he did afterwards? After all was said and done, after he realized this wasn't going anywhere, went straight back to his cheating ex. He went right back. Guess what? Now they're married with kids. And I thought, oh, you fool. You fool. She's proven to you. You had the opened window right, where they had broken up because she had been cheating on him while they were both living in his mother's home. In his mother's home, she was cheating on him, right? With at the time before. So then they broke up. But then you see with me, when guys go through these things, I don't judge them any less because how are they supposed to know? Women, we're quite heinous and we're really good at our heinous behavior. So it's up to us to choose whether we decide to villainize that or to use it for good. That's why I say women are always angels or witches and there's no in between. After all is said and done, bro really went back. And the people telling me, oh my gosh, they had a baby. I heard they had a baby. Oh, wow, that's so nice. And you know what's actually funny and crazy about it as well? Guess who slid into the DMs afterwards? And I was just like, I just blocked him. I was like, look, sir, I'm not going to participate in whatever it is you think you're going to do. You've made your decision now. But there was a little bit of me that did enjoy the fact that he still thought of me. You know what I'm saying? But like he went back to this woman she'd proven who she was. It's just like, again, even Samson and Delilah, like it's the same old problems. It's the same old story. The men trusting the wrong women and then somehow wondering how their life has turned into chaos and then, or how they've, had their heart broken or whatever. And then, developing all these issues with women. And it's like, it's Jezebel. She's doing great because then guess what? Even when she's done with you, even when she's done and disposed, guess what? The state you're going to be left in, especially for men who, they're emotionally constipated for a lot of it, right? The state you're left in, it's literally like she can just dispose of you because you're already now walking yourself down the road of destruction now, even without her, and she can move on to her next victim. This is what I see these women doing, going on to their next victim. It's insane. Like this guy I was telling you about, the millionaire I used to work for. And the woman he's with, I heard recently, apparently they just been out and doing this, living up life like he didn't literally pass out from exhaustion. From this woman who does diddly squat in life. Diddly squat. When I say that he makes all the money, she has her own money, doesn't spend any of it on the kids. She doesn't do anything. He does everything for the kids. He makes the breakfast in the morning. He takes them to school. He does whatever. That's why I was there. I was there because of how much she wasn't doing. That's why I was hired to be there from the moment the kids got back from school all the way until they went to bed. So I was like the other woman. So she's doing absolutely diddly squat. He's breaking his back to make all this money. And he used to be so cute seeing him with his kids, right? Because you could tell he really cared about them and he loved them. And after his long day, he'll just be sitting there out, like playing games with them in the trampoline. And it was so sweet. Or playing football. And he's with this woman who's the very reason of his stress. But then there's him there staring lovingly at her later. And I'm just like, what is this drug? And I realized it's Jezebel. It's Jezebel. Because that's the thing. There's no logic or thinking that men can do to get outside of this, or even a lot of women. That's why I said, like, people would take these women's sides. And I'm like, you know what? Go ahead. And honestly, the hardest part for me right now is to actually give people another chance, because this is what I'm afraid of. I didn't realize that this is what I'm afraid of when it comes to forging relationships with people, because it's not disappointment. It's not that people disappoint me, and it is kind of me disappointing people, but it's also like, it's just that I feel like no one's ever going to believe me. That's what I realized. The reason I got so close with God is because I'm like, God, finally, I have someone that makes me feel like they believe me. And that's why this season has been so insane for me. And I've been crying because I'm like, oh my gosh, I really was at the stage where I really thought that like, maybe I must just be the problem with everything because everyone's treating me like I am. And how can I be when I'm trying so hard not to be? And I know my intentions. That's why I love having a relationship with the Lord, because it's like, he knows my intentions. He knows that I'm not out here trying to do anything insane. He knows that. And so I can have a relationship with him because he sees on the inside. Again, the Bible talks about how, God looks at the heart and the world looks at the outward. Even when David was being chosen to be king, the prophet Samuel, I should stop calling him the prophet Samuel because I don't know if it's a prophet, but Samuel, I don't know if that's his official title. He didn't even pick David. He didn't see David. People don't see, because the kingdom of darkness is working hard. The natural world, the seen world, guys, This world, what we're all in, this is the devil's playing field. This is where he does his sleight of hand, his magic, his performances to sway the jury of the sheeple. This is where he does it. So the things that, this is why, again, men being visual individuals, again, works against them, because then they think that they know what they're doing based on what they can see. Her looks like a wife. Her doesn't look like a wife. Her this. They're too simple-minded, to be honest with you. And that's one of the main reasons I believe that the Bible says that it is not good for man to be alone, because when men are alone, I feel like they're lacking in that feminine wisdom in their life that helps them to not fall to these different types of things, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I don't know. That's all I have to say for now. I have so much to say on the topic. And honestly, I'm having an out-of-body experience going through all of this, because I feel like I'm experiencing deliverance finally. I feel like I've been up against this thing that everybody else has just been casually living, enjoying life, because they're unaware of the enemy that's at hand here, because the enemy is one of the greatest enemies ever. I'm clearly seeing something is wrong, but it's like I'm just here by myself seeing it. And every time I'm being told I'm making a big deal, I'm making a big deal, I'm making a big deal out of nothing. Look at my videos, guys. Look how they're aging well. Look how many things I've said and how much aging well has happened over here. Right? Look at the world and how many people are like, oh my gosh, the conspiracies, we're right, the conspiracies. Exactly. Exactly. And you know the irony of that dude who commented? I wouldn't be surprised if this is the same guy who could be praying to the Lord to send him a wife, praying for, sad that he doesn't, he's single, he's lonely. Meanwhile, easily could have a Jezebel in his life. Be lacking in wisdom. That's why I don't fight with people anymore, because I'm like, if you're not in my life or you're doing what you're doing, that just shows a lack of wisdom on your end, not my end. That's not my problem. You're just the idiot now. Anyways, if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye. Can we